Do you feel like you're moving a little too slow in Pro Tools? Recording artists getting a little short-tempered with you because you're taking a little bit too long? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you 5 quick and easy tips that you can implement today. It's going to make you much better at Pro Tools. You ready? Let's get into it. Tip number 1 is increasing and decreasing the grid value shortcut. You can do that by hitting shift and minus. This is going to decrease the grid value. And if you hit shift and plus, this is going to increase the grid value. And this is a really useful shortcut, especially if you're flying vocals in the middle of a recording session. Artists these days want you to be thinking ahead for them. So if they're in the middle of recording, you want to fly the hook over, you can easily use this shortcut so you can find your place and make sure that you have your hook right on time. And for tip number 2, we're going to be creating clip groups and also ungrouping those clip groups. We can easily do that on our keyboard by hitting Option Command G, and also by ungrouping them, we can do Option Command U. Now, how I like to use clip groups is if I'm in the middle of a session and I have, let's just say I have these stacked vocals here that you can see on the screen. And let's say I scroll somewhere down here and I have something like an ad lib. If I have that ad lib down here, I can go ahead and on my keyboard, I'm going to hold shift. Then I'm going to go ahead and click and I can add that ad lib to the clip group. That way I know I'm not missing anything whenever I'm flying the hook over. This is really useful because sometimes when we fly hooks, it can be a little difficult to have everything all together, but easily creating these clip groups is going to make sure that you have everything intact and you're not missing anything whenever you fly the hook over, so the artist is always satisfied. Tip number 3 is restoring the last selection. So let's say we're in the middle of editing some vocals here and we're really getting in there and doing some nitty-gritty editing, and while we're doing that, let's say we accidentally click off, which unfortunately can happen quite frequently. All we're going to do is on our keyboard, we're going to hit Option Command Z, and Pro Tools is automatically going to bring us back to where we last were. Tip number 4, we're going to copy and paste our plugin settings. So let's say I'm working on a vocal and I have certain auto-tune settings. Let's say I have some in and outs, ad-libs, vocal harmonies, whatever. I just want to make sure that the settings on the auto-tune program match the other instances of the vocals. One thing that I can do is I can actually hit Command Shift C. This is going to copy the settings here. Then I'm going to go here to the other vocal and I'm going to go ahead and hit Command Shift V. This is going to go ahead and paste the exact settings from one plugin to the other. Sometimes I see engineers, and also this is something I used to do, is actually try to drag and drop the different instances of the auto-tune program on the different tracks here. Sometimes it can get a little clunky, it's not quite as smooth. We want to be as efficient as possible whenever we're working with artists or we're recording ourselves, and this is a great tip that's going to make you run a lot smoother and a lot more efficiently. Tip number 5, we're going to be changing the track width. Now, I typically use this feature whenever I'm working with artists who send me their files to mix and they're recording in different programs. Let's say FL Studio or Logic, whatever. And let's say they have a lead vocal for some reason they actually have in stereo. What I like to do is I like to come here on the track, like to right click, scroll all the way down and click on change track width. And Pro Tools allows me to switch from stereo to mono, whatever I need. I have the option to do it right here. Now, this may not seem to be, very impactful of a feature, but if you've dragged and dropped and you've imported the files of a recording artist and they're needing their song mixed, and you have certain files that are in stereo, instead of going through and dealing with the left channel and the right channel, Pro Tools allows you to just come here, right click, change track width. Let's say you already put plugins on, Pro Tools allows you to change that as well. This is just a lot more efficient to me as opposed to going through and figure out what still needs to be a mono, what needs to be in stereo. I just come right here and it saves me a lot of time. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit like and subscribe. If you're a producer, make sure you go to DesmondASounds.com to get some hot loops to use on your next project. Also artists, if you're listening, make sure you go to DesmondABeats.com to leave some hot beats for your next project. I'm Desmond A, and I'll be back with more great tips. Hit that subscribe button. Peace.
Desmond A.